Boss for every boss, done for every done. Ever militant, so it and humble like column. Tell them no confusion. Boss for every boss, done for every done. Make them know see I want, so it and no confusion. Hey.
All right, the Hoppies. Thank you for inviting me into your humble home. I'm very appreciative of it. I've been trying to get here for the past couple of years, but scheduling wise, we haven't been able to make it work. You've been settled in for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
How has it been?
It's been an experience, you know. Not a bad experience, but an enlightening experience. Kind of open up our minds to what the possibilities are, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in January it will be 4 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
Time is flying.
Time flies.
Time is definitely flying, man. 4 years already. That's crazy. Yeah.
The process was enlightening, and you know it came with its challenges, but
Mm-hmm.
it was a good thing.
Okay.
It was a good thing.
Let me first off start by saying congratulations. You know, it's a major accomplishment.
Thank you.
You know, very, very proud of you guys. You know, and it's a beautiful place. You know,
Thank you.
beautiful,
you.
beautiful place. Very, very happy for what you guys have accomplished. Where were you before you moved into your home, and what's the biggest difference?
We was in the 90s.
Okay, explain for the audience what the 90s is.
Church in 96, that's the gully town. And it truly was, man. 24 hours of non-stop partying.
Mm-hmm.
Not for us, but the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We had a joke where, and it really wasn't a joke, but 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday night, we had our neighbors partying.
Turn up. We called it the turn up house.
You didn't join in? That wasn't part of
Absolutely
it?
not.
Put it this way, it hasn't changed much from when we grew up in Flatbush when we was young.
Right.
What the 90s was known for. We went there because apartment selection was short, and it actually was a very nice apartment,
Yes.
you know. But after 5 years of being there, one of the major things outside of everything that popped in our head, we realized how much money we spent there.
Okay.
We spent roughly about $120,000 to $130,000 within that 5 years.
Right.
And that was kind of a rock on the head, like something gotta change.
When you sit back and you do the numbers,
Yeah.
you know, this is something that I talk to the young students about, the young people about. If you're paying $2,000 a month rent,
Right. You can pay a mortgage.
right, in 2 years, that's $48,000. So now you talk to people about $48,000, their first initial reaction is, I don't have $48,000. Where am I going to get $48,000 from? But they have to realize that nothing happens overnight. You know, that same $48,000 that you were putting towards rent in 2 years' time, it may take you 4 years, but if you can stay at the nest a little longer,
Yes.
save the money, invest a little in some stocks, maybe travel a little, but you're making sure that you're making that payment every month, you have your down payment for your house, you have your closing costs for your house. So it's just an economics thing that they have to understand and make a plan to execute it, you know. How about you? What's the biggest difference what's the difference with you?
So yeah, we were at church between 96 and Wilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And prior to that, we were in East New York,
Okay,
right? And then prior to that, I lived with my family in Canarsie.
okay.
So just going through the transition of apartment and coming to a place of home ownership and having that sense of belonging, that sense of peace, that sense of accomplishment. And we are in New Jersey,
Right.
South New Jersey at that.
Right.
So Brooklyn, South Jersey, the changes are pretty obvious.
Right.
The traffic, no more parking. Sometimes my husband would be outside 45 minutes looking for parking. So just having the ability to come in and pull into your driveway was a huge difference. Of course, coming out here, you know, in New York City, MTA runs it, so public transportation was accessible. You come out here, I had to drive.
Right.
So that was an adjustment as well, you know. But it was a good adjustment.
Right.
Yeah. Something we were looking forward to.
the stress of that city life leaves you when you leave the city behind. You know,
It's
so
like a weight.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
People don't realize the amount of pressure that they deal with just being in the city constantly, in an apartment, like people on top of you. They don't realize that the stress that comes off of you when you leave that. You know, so I definitely understand the change. You know, so
Dealing with the landlords, the repairs.
right. Oh,
Constant.
Yeah.
so if you get a slumlord, forget about it. You know.
Like you know what it is? It was a combination of all that.
Uh-huh.
When you sit down, you think of the financial side, the stress side, the wanting more,
Uh-huh.
the hundreds of conversations you have about it. It just came to a point where it's like, you know what? I'm pretty sure something happened that day
Mm-hmm.
where it was like just an icing on the cake where we decided, you know what? Nah. And from that point on, we didn't do it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to knock her.
Mm-hmm.
We had our ups and downs with that.
Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. Okay.
We had trials with, careers in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Just life. Life happens.
Yeah.
Right.
But we never left far from it. And then being in the 90s and being with the slumlord, realizing how much money we spent,
Mm-hmm.
that all came together and we decided, okay, enough is enough. Let's do this.
And for many, the timing would be not great because when we started off with our first realtor, she was like, "Are you guys sure you want to do this now? The market is crazy.
Wow.
Maybe you can wait 6 months."
During
And
COVID.
Wow.
because this is coming out of COVID,
Uh-huh.
like so October 2021, October, November, and she was like, "You sure this is the time?" And we was like, "This is the time."
I've never heard an agent say
This
that
is the
before.
time. Yeah.
I don't know if that's
She
a good
actually-
thing or a bad thing, but I've
She
never
actually told us to wait. She said
Told
wait
us to
till.
wait.
Wow. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. All right, that's
Talking about the dark side of
Uh,
real estate.
uh.
Like, yeah, she told us to wait, but we were adamant that this is the time.
Right. That
Yeah.
when that enough button goes off,
Mhm.
like enough, man, enough. I get it. I
Yeah.
totally get it. Let's talk about Blacks in America a little bit. You guys read the book. Did you guys read it together or did you read it separate?
Separately.
Okay.
I read it first.
Yeah.
Okay, so you read it first.
Yes.
Okay. And how did that play out? How did you get her to read it after you read it?
When I read it, and I'm not saying this because I know you. I'm
Right.
not saying this for the camera.
Uh-huh.
It honestly, I never had anything break it down that simple to me.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that I fully understood everything the first time,
Mm-hmm.
but honestly, it kind of gave me an initial confidence, like, oh, okay, I think this could happen.
Right.
Because a lot of part of it too is, me personally, as much as I work with my hands and all that stuff, there was a lot about home ownership I didn't understand.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure in the back of my mind, it kind of made me hesitate a little bit on it, because something you don't understand, you're a little bit too hesitant on it.
Right.
After reading it the first time, even though I ended up reading it several times after that,
Mm-hmm.
that initial reading made me feel like, okay, if I can read this once and I can understand it at least to this point, I can feel confident enough to bring it to my wife.
Okay.
I feel confident enough to now explain what I've read to my kids.
Mm.
So it was kind of like a door that I walked through that I couldn't walk back.
Right.
So I realized, well, I'm through this door now. Let's take a shot at this.
They say if you can't explain it to a third grader, then you really you really don't understand it. So, and you mentioning it that you're able to explain it to your kids, even though they're not third graders, but you can explain it. Some people, everybody can't explain things and they still do understand it, but for the most part, if you could explain it, that means that you really do understand it. So how was it did she know that you were reading it, or did you read it first and then said, all right, I gotta bring it to her, like, how?
I'm pretty sure I probably told her when you was writing it, and
Mhm.
I told her about it.
Because I know when he went to the book launch.
Okay.
Yes.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right.
So after coming from the book launch and reading it, I would say maybe a handful of days after that, after reading it, then I came to him like, baby, you gotta read this.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly, just like
Just
that.
like that.
He brought the books home, so it was like, okay, we both have a copy.
Mm-hmm.
He took it to work to the garage, and a couple days later, he's like, baby, you gotta start.
Right.
And he started breaking certain things down, and so said, so done. I started,
Mhm.
and then now we're coming notes and we're exchanging ideas, and I echo his sentiments. It was so relatable and easily dissected.
Right.
You know, you broke it down really well because I'm from Carriacou.
Okay.
Our home ownership begins and ends with your family having a house.
Right.
You don't know anything. This level of process that you go through in the US to become a homeowner was completely foreign to me from beginning to end. So having read the book from start to finish, where it was literally a roadmap. It was the blueprint from start to finish as to what you go through at the beginning, what can happen in the middle, what can happen in the end. So it was like it gave us the confidence and the prerequisites to be like, okay, we ready to do this. So I knew by the time we connected to a realtor, we knew what to ask, how to ask it. When they were using terms, we knew why they were saying that, and I can follow up now.
Right.
So it lit the fire for everything that came after that.
I'm here cheesing like a kid in a candy store.
No, it really did. It really did.
It's giving me chills hearing you guys' story because for those of you that don't know, I've wanted to do this for a few years and we haven't been able to connect to sit down and do it. Like you've had a couple of events at the place, but scheduling wise, we haven't been able to connect like I mentioned earlier. But to sit down and hear you guys say it, man, I'm getting chills because it's exactly what I intended when I put the book together. You know, and I put the book together by chance. I don't know if you guys know this story. I was in a mentorship class for my fictional writing, and I paid $1,000 for the class, and everybody's book in the class was pain, upliftment, information. Nobody had a fictional book, and I was like, damn, I wasted my $1,000. So I'm like, what the? So I said, you know what? I'll stick with the class. He gave me an idea. I had the information. I made mistakes when I purchased my house. I had a credit repair business. I did real estate, and that's how I ended up putting the book together. And in the beginning, the home buyers book was outselling everything else that I had. And it's a book that came about by chance. But in putting it together, that was the mindset behind it, giving us a level playing field with information, you know. And people coming from overseas to try to process, and they find it difficult. People that are living here don't know the process, you know. So it's a guide that does exactly what we needed to do to break it down for us, you know. Now we've known each other for a long time. Initially, you got a copy at the book launch. You came to the book launch, which was in the middle of COVID, so I'm very thankful for that because to get people to come out of their house in the middle of COVID wasn't easy, you know. But then you contacted me and asked me for 5 more copies. Do you remember? You remember that?
Met you on the Junction.
Yeah, you met me on the Junction, Flatbush, Brooklyn, on the Junction. Explain to us all what went on in between the initial purchase and the ask for 5 more copies. Like, why did you want 5 more copies?
Well, basically got to a point where I can't remember exactly if we had moved here already or maybe we were still in Brooklyn. I'm not sure. But I would have meetings with my kids and I started really like pushing them because all of them would give hints that they was ready to move out. Whether it was immediately or just throwing it in the air or whatever. And I really didn't want my kids to go through what I went through. Even though it wasn't a horrible situation for me. This home personally for me is my, I think 13th or 14th place I've lived since I moved out of my parents' home. Wow. And it was never because I got kicked out. It just, when the kids was young, you know how it was. We got an apartment for the kids, and when they got bigger, you got the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But I don't want that avenue for them. I see something totally different for them, and it'll be ridiculous for me to do this at this age, and them do this at this age.
Okay.
The point is, if I'm doing this now, they should be doing it at their age, right? That they're at now. So.
Yeah, and like you said at the beginning, with them not understanding the financial literacy part of it, or the understanding that if I can go, or I'm capable of renting an apartment, I'm capable of paying a mortgage and owning a home. So having the young people change their mindset and shifting that process whereby The goal is not to rent, the goal is to own.
Mhm.
And having this book, and then, he has these meetings with the kids once a week where they're talking, whether it's about ownership or jobs or stepping stone to whatever it is that they're going through. They are learning now that this is the time.
Mhm.
Like, you can do this now. The lessons that I've learned later in my life, I want to ensure that you don't have to go through these steps to do it right now.
And I want to commend you guys for having those meetings. They're very important.
Definitely.
And as kids get older, sometimes they want to tell us, I don't want to hear that. But for them to come and listen, that shows that they respect you, first of all, and for you to commit the time to want to share that information with them is important. Sharing information is very, very important. What were your expectations going into reading the book? Like, we've known each other. I have stories that you may not remember from when we were kids, but we known each other, like, that's 30, 40 years. Like, we've known each other a long time. We're revealing our ages, but what were your expectations going into reading the book? What were your thoughts?
Well, I hold a great deal of respect for you, my brother.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
I'm a man. I don't really have a circle like Drake said. I got a dot.
Mm.
I am my circle. So there's very few people that I hold a high level of respect for and I keep close to me.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we both have busy schedules, I consider you a brother of my own heart.
Right.
So just the way you carry yourself, your demeanor, I know about your credit repair business before,
Mm-hmm.
so I knew you was in that field. I believe there were several times I shot you a couple questions here and there.
Right.
So when you told me you was writing that book, I was like, oh,
Sign me up.
so, one, I need it,
Right.
and two, I need something to, for lack of better words, dumb it down for me,
Mm-hmm.
so I can share with others, my wife, my kids, and stuff like that. So I can basically I can answer that question by saying, off of the person you've always been,
Mm-hmm.
of course. Why? Blaze writing the book, let me get it.
Mm-hmm.
My expectations, what I got out of it, I expected to get out of it, and I salute you for that. This really comes from you being you.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else with the home ownership, it was something I needed, so it wasn't a matter of expectation, it was a matter of
Necessity.
necessity.
Mhm.
Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's awesome too, because a lot of people just buy the book. Personal people that I know, they buy the book just to support.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of people that actually read it, when they do read it, they're pleasantly surprised because of what's inside of there. And I tell people, time is an issue with a lot of people. So this is the gem of the interview. When you find that you don't have enough time to read, leave the book in the bathroom. Leave the phone outside of the bathroom. We get up off of the bowl and our legs are numb.
Yeah.
You can get that same feeling by reading. You get through any book that way. Back in the days, they used to have magazines on the side of the bowl. Now we can do it, go right back to that and leave the phone outside. Did you have any expectations when he brought the book to you?
So no, I didn't have any expectations, but for the same reason, like, I knew your face
Mhm.
and knew of you from the social scene,
Mhm.
Lorraine.
Right.
So your face and them boys and them through the
Uh-huh.
plane, right? But everything else I learned about you was directly through him, even when you had the credit repair.
Mhm.
And like he said, you were always very open and willing to share your knowledge
Right.
and to give tips that then he shared with me. So when he's like, you're writing this book, you have this book launch, this is what it's about. And at that point, we've had several conversations regarding where we know we want to go.
Mhm.
Home ownership has always been the end goal, even if we weren't there yet.
Right.
So it was just natural to wait for that book to come home. And then he started it first,
Mhm.
and he's like, 2 days in, he's like, baby, let's go. So I was like, okay, I'm ready. So we did the same thing, reading it in between
Mhm.
wherever we had time, and then we started highlighting things and
Taking
comparing notes, starting applying stuff. And I'm research driven, so everything just set the tone for me to do more.
Right.
Because I like to be prepared,
Awesome,
So asking
awesome.
those questions, it really was what we needed to equip us with the process to start.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's been a while since you guys have read the book. You may or may not remember. Is there one thing that stood out to you when you read the book that you didn't know ahead of time and said, wow? Was there a wow factor in the book?
Well, one thing that stood out is when we was preparing, you know, everything before buying a home, getting our credit correct, getting DTI, debt to income ratio. So when it came to that was the time when the money had to come out.
Okay.
Cause you know, you gotta get these cards down, you gotta get, you know, income right. It didn't really, nothing surprised me in a bad way. Everything was delightful in a way that even if I read it and I forgot it, it was a reference book. Like I said, you could see the crease in the book. You know, it was something that if we forgot or if we had to go back, we flipped to it,
Yes.
highlight. You know, so I don't say it in a bad way, but in a good way, it was always a reference to something to go to throughout the whole process. With getting all the money and all the paperwork right, that was the part that stood out to me, because I was like, well, if we get past this part, then it's time to see homes.
Right.
Can't see the homes until you get the money right and pay off the cards and get the stuff right. So particularly, that's kind of what stood out for me, the fact that I can go back and reference check anything at a drop of a dime.
Nice.
And we did. Literally throughout the whole process, it was something where we was always, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't go into the process blind.
And that
No.
was the best thing.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah. For
confidence
me,
builder.
I think many things wooed me just because I was so ignorant to the process. So just learn DTI stuck out from jump because you know you think, okay, well, you know, we got our income where we needed to be, we got the money, and they'd be like, well, if your debt is as far as now you have that 36%, you know, rigidity, like you can't have this much debt even if you have the income. Now you have the ratio to consider, and now you have to bring that down. So DTI was a big thing for me. Learning even something as simple as doing home ownership, and there's gift letters that you can do in addition to.
Which
that was
helps.
completely
Helped
foreign
us.
to us, which was helpful to us. Learning that you don't necessarily have to pay your homeowner's insurance outside of your mortgage, and it can be roped into your escrow. All these terms were just brand new. You may have heard it, but you didn't know what it meant until I got into delving deeper into the book, and the terms made sense, the explanations made sense. And you know, dealing with our team, our process team, they always was like, they would tell us like, are you sure you never did this before? And we'll be like, they used to be like, why does she know so much? Are you taking my job? And I'll be like, we had help. And it was really because this book gave us the roadmap. It really just